guys, Lan here on Grady's Mom, here to do a quick cooking video for you today. I recently showed in one of my What's for Dinner videos a recipe that so many of you guys commented. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many people commented, just said to film the recipe for this. It's like a turkey burger or a turkey patty. I served it as is, so I didn't put it on a bun, but if you like turkey burgers, you can absolutely put this on a bun and have like a turkey burger. So it's kind of like a stuffed turkey burger. Obviously you're going to need the ground turkey. A very important tip here is when you are going to get the ground turkey, if you're going to make this recipe, you're going to want to try and get one that's 85% lean and 15% fat. And sometimes it can be deceiving because, you know, you think all ground turkey is the same. It's not. Try and get one that's as close to this percentage as possible, because you do want your turkey to have a little fat. It will bind and hold together better. If you get one that's like 5 or 93% lean, it's not going to bind as well, and it'll be a bit more crumbly and also a bit more dry. So I always try and get the 85-15 for any recipe that I am using ground turkey in. That's just my personal preference. So obviously you'll need this. I have a pound here. You're gonna need some baby spinach, any brand, any kind. You're just gonna take about a cupful of it and chop it up real fine, which I'll show you guys in just a bit. You're gonna need some sun-dried tomatoes. I have these here. These are in the olive oil. They're marinated in olive oil. So you're going to want to go ahead and get some sun-dried tomatoes. I have some herbed feta cheese here that's already crumbled up that I cut up. I actually got this at Aldi because feta cheese is expensive and Aldi had the best price, and it's actually really good. So it's just an herbed feta cheese. I'd say there's maybe 3/4 of a cup here. Obviously, if you're going to double this recipe, then I would double the rest of the ingredients. You're going to need some salt, some pepper, and some garlic. You can use fresh garlic if you don't have the kind here. I go through so much of it that I just find it's easier for me to just use the minced garlic because I go through a lot of this. And that is really everything you're going to need. Obviously you can improvise anything that you want. If you don't like feta, you could use blue cheese, you could use mozzarella, you could use cheddar. I just like it with the feta. If you're not a fan of baby spinach, maybe you could try using like finely chopped up kale, finely chopped up arugula. I just like the baby spinach. Again, this is just a recipe that I did, so I wanted to share it with you. I'm gonna go ahead now, get everything prepped, everything mixed up. I'll show you how it all comes together. It's super easy, and I think you guys are really gonna love this one. Alright guys, so I'm gonna cut up the baby spinach. The best way I've found and the easiest to do this is to get it in a bunch and try to roll it into like a big mound and then just cut through the mound. It makes it a little bit easier. And then you're just gonna keep on pinching it back together, kind of like in a big lump, and then just keep cutting down the lump. So you wanna like roll it up and cut it, and it makes it just a little easier. So again, just roll it back up and then continue to cut through the mound. And then obviously there's going to be some bigger pieces like this that escape. Just kind of roll those back into the mound and keep on cutting through that mound, and eventually it'll break it down really well. And spinach melts down to nothing when it's cooked, so don't worry about it being too big. That looks pretty good actually. This is about a cup, by the way. I'm going to cut it down a little bit more. Perfect. So that's kind of the consistency that you're looking for. All right, so I've got my turkey in a big bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and get all the spinach in there. We're gonna mix everything in one bowl. I'm gonna get my 3/4 of a cup of feta in there. This is the herbed feta from Aldi. I'm gonna get a spoon and put in my sun-dried tomatoes and my garlic, and we're gonna mix it all together and make the patties. So I did 1 heaping teaspoon of the garlic, and then I did about 3 heaping teaspoons of the sun-dried tomatoes. Obviously, you can adjust it to your preference. I'm gonna do a little salt and pepper. We're gonna mix it up and get the patties formed. Okay, so we're gonna mix it all up. I have rubber gloves on. I actually buy the huge box of like 100, I think, 100 pairs or 100 gloves from Walmart. because I use rubber gloves a lot because I do a lot of cooking. So I just put the rubber gloves on and mix this by hand. I find it's better, it works better than mixing it with a spoon. So I'm just mixing it all together. It actually smells really good. So I want it really well incorporated it, and you want these really to be loaded. So it might look like there's a lot of filling in the mixing with the turkey, but that's what you want. You want a lot of flavor because turkey tends to not really have all that much flavor, as you guys know. So I'm gonna mix it really well together, and then I'm gonna form it into patties, which of course I'm gonna show you. Just gonna keep mixing and I'll show you guys the patties. So you can do your patties any size you want, guys. I like mine kind of the size of like a small hamburger, if that makes sense. So just kind of form it, flatten it out like that, and then put it right on your plate. And I cook these in a two-step process. You could obviously throw them right on the grill, but I actually sear them on a hot frying pan with a little bit of olive oil just to get some nice brown crust on top. See, there's the next one. You try to make them the same size, obviously, just do the best you can. And then like I think I was saying, I pan fry them for like 2 to 3 minutes on each side in a frying pan, and then I transfer them to the oven to finish cooking. But obviously you can throw them on the grill, you can just bake them completely in the oven. It's really just a personal preference, but you want a lot of nice filling. You want it to be really nice and loaded. And of course you can make them bigger or smaller. These would also be really good as like little turkey burger sliders. Nowadays you can buy the little slider buns right in the store, so they'd be really good. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue making the patties, and I'll be back with you guys when I'm done. Alright guys, so I did the best I could at trying to get them around the same size. Again, they're kind of like the size of a small hamburger, almost like the size of like a McDonald's hamburger patty for size reference. So I've got them all plated up. There's a good amount, which is nice because my husband and I will have 2 each for dinner, and then I'll have some left over obviously for a lunch for myself for tomorrow, and maybe even more than that. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in a hot preheated frying pan with just a little bit of olive oil and a couple 2 to 3 minutes on each side because they're thin. You just want a little bit of color on them, and then I'll throw them in the oven to finish them off. But look how good they look, guys. Nice and loaded. You want a lot of nice chunks in there of the spinach and the sun-dried tomato and the feta cheese. Really, really yummy, and it definitely gives the turkey a lot more flavor. Alright guys, so I have a large frying pan here with some olive oil blend. I'm actually currently using this one here, which is the Mediterranean blend. It's got canola, extra virgin olive oil, and grapeseed oil, and I really like it. So I'm just getting the pan all coated really well. And I'm going to let this heat up and get nice and hot. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my first batch. I'll probably do half and half. And then I'll transfer them when they're seared onto a sheet pan with some parchment paper. I have my oven preheating to 400. Because again, I mentioned earlier, we're going to do 2 to 3 minutes on each side in the frying pan just to get some color. And then we're going to finish cooking them in the oven. Alright, so I've got my first batch in. There are 9 total. So I did 5 and then I have 4. These are a little larger. So again, 2 to 3 minutes on each side. I'm going to flip them, and then I'm going to transfer them over onto this lined baking sheet. Again, oven's preheating, so when it hits 400, I'll pop these in. They'll be nice and seared, and they're going to finish off in a 400-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Alright guys, so hopefully you can hear me. I have something else on the stove going, but see how there's just a little bit of color on these? That is what you're looking for. You're going to need a pretty hot pan for that. These, I will tell you, they're not the cleanest recipe. Your kitchen's definitely going to need some TLC when you're done, but they are so worth it. Look how good these look, and they're not even done yet. So yes, you're looking for a little color. My oven's preheated. I'm going to get them in for like 15 minutes, check them. They should be done, and then we're good to go. So I'll show you what they look like when they come out. Alright guys, so here is what they look like after they came out of the oven. They did take 15 minutes on the dot, and all that delicious filling is going to give it so much flavor. Like I mentioned, you can serve these on a bun. I'm just going to eat them as is with some sauteed veggies and some steamed glazed carrots. I will go ahead and insert a picture after of our full meal, but they are absolutely delicious. And again, you can variate them however you like. I will go ahead and type everything up down below like I always do. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.